Good news! China no longer has any influence over Americans. That's right, as of tomorrow, TikTok is banned in the United States. And this is great news for me because now the algorithm won't keep feeding me annoying orange to hate watch. Why won't somebody put you in the blender? In response to this ban, many TikTokers had this to say.
Would that not be the biggest due to the government ever of oh, you're going to take TikTok away because you're worried about Chinese security threats? Just to show you how little we give a we are going to move to the actual Chinese version of this app.
People are going there willingly and giving them their data willingly because these servers are located deep in China. So it's just interesting, do they give TikTok back to us because of this? It's like their worst fears are actually coming true. It's not just like the boogeyman.
What are you, a 16-year-old girl getting a set it off tattoo to punish your dad? I guess Biden's taking the she'll come back when she realizes it's not so bad approach. Now, whether you agree or disagree with the ban, we can all agree it was a terrible law in its execution, messaging, and effectiveness when it came to Chinese influence. So the next time this happens, you're probably going to be like, it's a talking piece of paper! Kill it! It's probably going to take away Grindr! Hi, I'm Jacob, the Seattle Soy Boy. Welcome to Late News Last Night. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Coming up, lies are allowed on Facebook, liberal tears, and North Korea bans a favorite American classic. So it's time to make some fun of the news. This week, Meta CEO and second attempt at cloning Logan Paul, Mark Zuckerberg, made this startling announcement.
I want to talk about something important today, because it's time to get back to our roots around free expression on Facebook and Instagram. Governments and legacy media have pushed to censor more and more. A lot of this is clearly political, and we've reached a point where it's just too many mistakes and too much censorship. The recent elections also feel like a cultural tipping point towards once again prioritizing speech. First, we're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes, similar to X. Second, we're going to simplify our content policies and get rid of a bunch of restrictions on topics like immigration and gender. We're changing how we enforce our policies to reduce the mistakes that account for the vast majority of censorship on our platforms. We used to have filters that scanned for any policy violation. Now, we're going to focus those filters on tackling illegal and high-severity violations.
And that's why I'll be posting some filthy lies about him, like that he stole one of Rand Paul's wigs. Facts can't have a liberal bias. Instead of trying to appease Trump by changing your platform to be more like X, maybe you should worry more about looking like little orphan Annie after growing up in an affluent, wealthy family. Maybe he's just salty that even after changing his haircut from Lego Data from Star Trek, that he was still relentlessly mocked. And he thought looking like Seth Rogen's estranged son was any better? President Biden weighed in on the situation.
It's just completely contrary to everything America's about. We want to tell the truth.
Yeah, sorry, bro. America has always been about lies. Oh, we're definitely not going to steal the land you've been living on for generations. We're definitely not injecting you with syphilis. We definitely don't have horse meat in our burgers. Zuckerberg's company also announced that it was ending its DEI program because it was, quote, too charged. You know what else is too charged? All the posts that you're about to allow on Facebook, which is why I'll be posting, "It's so nice Chia Pet sponsored Zuckerberg's head." Last week, Kim Jong-un banned hot dogs in North Korea because they were too Western, and not as I originally thought, because hot dogs were bigger than his wiener. Thank you, invisible drum man who's a hallucination. Hey, Kim, if you don't like Western stuff, then why are you putting up a fake IKEA store? You built a cheap, off-brand IKEA store. Where'd you get it from? IKEA? And somehow that fake storefront does a better job than your barber, who I assume is the robot from The Incredibles. But if you hate Western culture so much, then we'll be taking our cheese sampling platters and our Dennis Rodman back. This video is sponsored by Honey. No, not that one. Yeah. Are you a bee who sees more than 100 lifetimes worth of honey locked in a scary prison? Well, I'm here to warn you that honey is dangerous, and that it's a trick that will make you think you're getting something good, but it ends up being a sticky trap you can't get out of. Kind of like this honey. Joke's on you, honey. I do the show for free. You can't take any of my commissions. This week, Defense Secretary nominee for the Trump administration, Pete Hegseth, was grilled in front of the Senate. This dog and pony show went just about as well as anyone expected.
And you had just fathered a child by a woman who would later become your third wife, correct?
Senator, I was falsely charged, fully investigated, and completely cleared.
So you think you were completely cleared because you committed no crime? That's your definition of cleared? You had just fathered a child 2 months before by a woman that was not your wife. Can you so casually cheat on a second wife? And she was, and you cheated on the mother of that child. You had sex at that hotel in October 2017. You said it was consensual, isn't that correct? And you were still married and you just had a child by another woman. That you had sex while you were married to wife 2 after you just had fathered a child by wife 3.
Boring! Nobody cares about cheating anymore, remember? Rather than hearing depressed Kramer dig into personal crap that has nothing to do with Hegseth's abysmal qualifications for a top military position, let's hear someone fun talk, like Senator Mullen.
And then how many senators do you know have got a divorce for cheating on their wives? Did you ask them to step down? No. But it's for show. You guys make sure you make a big show and point out the hypocrisy because a man's made a mistake.
Yeah! Who here hasn't accidentally taken off their clothes and then accidentally slipped and fell genitals first onto their mattress and then accidentally lied about it and then accidentally did that 14 more times? He continued.
And you want to sit there and say that he's not qualified? Give me a joke.
Ooh, I got one. Okay, why did the chicken cross the road? To have unprotected sex with not his wife because he was too drunk to tell the road from the sidewalk. Actually, he crossed the road because he was afraid of this guy. Senator Mullen continued to dig his own grave.
We've all made mistakes. I've made mistakes. And Jennifer, thank you for loving him through that mistake. Because the only reason why I'm here and not in prison is because my wife loved me too.
Oh, she definitely hid the body. Mark Wayne Mullen is confessing so much that by the time we're done confirming all of Trump's controversial nominees, Mark Wayne Mullen will have basically confessed to every crime. Who here hasn't committed bribery while doing coke off an underage hooker paid with taxpayer funds in the VIP lounge of the strip club on 6th Avenue at 4:35 a.m. yesterday? But okay, Senator Mullen, in case you don't know what an actual mistake looks like, let's play one of your interviews from the day after the hearing.
The hypocrisy that runs through the Democrat Party is so thick, it's laughable. I mean, what about Rachel, you know, the undersecretary inside of HHS who doesn't even know her own pronoun? Or if you want to talk about being unqualified, Pete Hegseth, the gentleman, or not Pete Hegseth, I'm sorry.
Mullen Freudian slipped like a puppy walking on ice for the first time. It has come to my attention that many of y'all really enjoy liberal tears, and as I am a them of the people, I thought I'd give you the satisfaction, so here we go. Why won't you go in my eye, bro? Oh my god, Trump's gonna be president. I can't. Alright, there you go, you sadistic bastards. I will be posting these memes on our channel and you can use them for whatever you want. Melania Trump's Be Best campaign will return with the Trump administration.
Will you continue with your platform, Be Best?
I will continue with Be Best, and also I will expand Be Best.
So this will basically be the Switch 2, just the same thing but a little bit bigger and will probably fall apart faster. What does it say about your anti-bullying campaign when you have to reboot it because it didn't take the first time? Let's hear her out.
In the first administration, I didn't have much support from anyone.
I think maybe that anti-bullying campaign might just literally be about her. Americans are feeling trapped in a loveless marriage, and Americans are constantly having to swat away hand, and Americans don't give a f*** about Christmas. Infighting has already begun in the MAGA movement as Steve Bannon and Elon Musk have gone at it over the last week on the issue of visas for immigration in this country. Elon Musk said on X that he would go to war on this issue and that anyone who disagreed should go f*** themselves in the face. Steve Bannon responded by telling Musk to go back to Africa and that the most racist people are white South Africans. Whoa! Did he just say, we don't like racism, so go back to Africa? But it's not just Bannon and Musk. We've also got Andrew Tate and Ben Shapiro. And whoever wins that bracket matchup goes on to the semifinals for a chance to go up against the reigning champion for biggest teabag. Devastating fires have been raging near the LA area, and so many kind people have come to the scene, but there's also people who are like this.
Why don't they use geoengineering like cloud seeding to bring rain down on the wildfires in California? They know how to do it.
She's so close to figuring it out. She's like the kindergartner who has the answer to the math homework on her hands and still hasn't figured it out. 5 plus 3... 53, yep. And of course, conservative punditry didn't stop with the culture wars.
The whole thing is a complete disaster. A lot of it comes back to DEI.
Kristen Crowley, the fire chief in Los Angeles, she is a very silly woman. The first gay female fire chief ever. Wow.
Under her is Christina Kepner, first lesbian assistant chief. Then under her is Christine Larson. They're all Christina. She's also a lesbian. Christina, lesbian.
That's insane. That's like saying affirmative action causes your chronic diarrhea. For more on this, we talked to our resident weather expert, John Staminella. John? Hi, Jacob. So, how's the situation down in California? Well, as you can see, there's a raging woke in California, and these conditions are brought on by lots of dry DEI and a very strong George Soros coming down from the north. Interesting. And are there any natural disasters happening elsewhere? Well, in Japan, there's a 6.6 magnitude gender neutral, and part of the country has been issued a trans-NAMI advisory. Wow, that makes so much sense. And what can we prepare for in the future? Well, it's looking like it's going to be a very bad communism season. We may see some F5 Marxisms. And what about the actual weather? You know, people could really use good information about which zones need to be evacuated and how fast the fires are spreading. Nah, that would actually be helpful. I wouldn't want to get anywhere close to that. Yeah, that checks out. John Staminella, everybody. Well, that's all the news I have for now. I hope to see you next week. Don't forget to subscribe and like.